Well, hello everyone. Welcome to me, your host, Christian Watson. It is so good to be with you guys here today, as I always say when I begin my videos. So, my friends, I was reading the internet, reading the news, excuse me. I guess you can read the internet. I was reading the news today on the internet, and I came across a story that I thought would be a very good segue into a potential topic of societal import. And this is the topic of the N-word. So as you're reading here on theblaze.com, the headline says, country music star Morgan Wallen issues impassioned apology following use of N-word. Details concerning 72-hour bender, talks sobriety, and he quotes the Apostle Paul. He mentions that this is not an incident that he is particularly happy about. So what essentially happened here, Morgan Wallen, and I don't know who this guy is. I don't listen to country music personally. I listen to classic rock or R&B, and so I don't know who this guy is. But apparently he's an eminent country star. So Morgan Wallen essentially was caught on February 2nd in a video obtained by TMZ shouting the N-word during a night in which the sense of aqua vitae and intoxication was filling the air and possessing people. So let's pay very close attention to that. That'll help us understand the narrative as this goes on. And so he made an apology on his YouTube page and other social media, saying that this is not me. I'm sorry. This is not what I wanted to do. This is not what I think is the correct course of conduct. I'm embarrassed. Many people are saying he's doing this because he got caught. Well, guess what? Sometimes it takes you to have another perspective before you can see that your own perspective is wrong. Sometimes having the other idea or having the external criticism can help make you better. This is actually the foundational principle of every single training and skill. Any idea of training or skill is going to be rested on this principle. Knowledge does not just come from inside of your head. You have to observe things. And to observe things, you have to also take into account the totality of things. And to do that, you have to sometimes get expertise that you may not be a party to immediately. So I don't buy this idea that if someone apologizes, they're doing so because they are guilty that they got caught, not because they're guilty for what they did. I don't think that has to be true. It's not necessarily true. And it's obvious this man has put out an impassioned apology. But it's not about Morgan Wallen. This is bigger. It's about the use of the N-word. So the question becomes to us, the epistemological pursuit becomes clear to us. Is it ever okay to use the N-word? Now, the context here is very clear. And by the way, the answer to this question, I think getting to the answer will require us to understand context. So the context here, Wallen is obviously 27 years old. He's a younger man, about 7 years older than me, but still a young man. He was out doing something that a lot of young people do. He was getting intoxicated. He was partying. But he's not using that as an excuse. He's saying, no, this is wrong. I shouldn't have done this. This is bad. I'm going to go off the grid. I want you guys to trust me. I want to trust me. He says, look, I want to trust me. Who knows if I'll be able to live down all the mistakes I've made, but I'm certainly going to try. Now, look, I don't know Wallen's heart. I don't know what compelled him to say the word. But I do know someone who is being apologetic and is willing to put blame on themselves and is willing to look at themselves. That is someone who deserves due consideration. Some will say that language itself doesn't matter, that it's how words are used. But I find that to be concerning, because I think that the way words are used are inherent to our application of language. For example, if someone says, cut off the lights, that's going to be a more aggressive tone and proclamation than, hey, please turn off the lights. Because the word cut brings forth a lot of vivid images of destruction or of an immediate end. Similarly, if someone says the N-word, whether it's in the sense of the camaraderie, the GA, or the hard ER, there is a sense that is invoked in the minds of many people given that word's history. But should we understand every single application of the N-word as equal? I don't think so. Well, let me give you an example. Kendrick Lamar, who is an eminent American rapper, he had a white fan come on his stage, and she was singing along to the lyrics of his song. and the lyrics of that song contain the N-word. And here, let me just show you what happened. Now, if that had been an African-American woman singing along to the song, I doubt that he would have even stopped. He probably would have kept going on. The double standard is real. Look, if the N-word is a bad word to say, its badness, or the quality of its badness, cannot change depending on who's saying it. As I said, context matters, but the person who's saying it, that should be incidental and immaterial to the quality of the word itself. Like, if it doesn't matter, if I say the N-word, there's no special quality that is conferred upon my saying the N-word because I'm black. I'm using a word that exists independent of my existence. This is the problem of the lived experience idea that the left has. The idea that if you have lived experience, that gives you certain privileges to say certain things. Well, then my question to that is, how do we ensure conceptual fortitude? How do we ensure principle consistency? How do we ensure that we are able to have standards that better solve issues universally rather than in terms of subjective experience? How do we fix these things? We don't. In this instance, it's obvious that she was simply singing along to a rap song to a rapper that she happened to like. In this instance, the N-word, the hard GA, not the hard ER, was obviously not used with malice, nor was it used to try to invoke some sort of racial statement. But I would agree with Kendrick Lamar, it's still wrong for her to say the N-word. But it's equally as wrong for Kendrick Lamar to have put the N-word in his song. Again, if we're going to analyze the quality of words, they cannot differ depending on who's saying them. They can differ depending on which way they're being used, of course. But the word murder will always mean murder, no matter if it's a coroner saying that, or no matter if it's a police officer saying that, or no matter if it's a madman wielding an axe saying that as he runs towards you. But guess what? In those three circumstances, what murder kind of is doing, what the effect of the word is different because of context. But what the denotative meaning of the word is, the act of unjustly killing someone, remains consistent. Similarly, I don't care if you have the hard ER word, which was the more guttural racist word used by many people in acts of black suppression as a derogatory remark against a black person's individualism, or if it's the GA word, not going to say the entire word, which is used to express camaraderie. The GA word is simply the offshoot of the ER word, right? They say that they've reclaimed it. But how can you reclaim fresh fruit from a tree whose roots are rotten? The roots of the N-word are rotten. They are steeped in identity politics. They are steeped in oppression. They are steeped in hatred. So it is incumbent upon all of us, whether we are, regardless of our skin colors or our political orientations, to put to bed, to put to rest every single negative, derogatory word and engage in an alchemy of love toward each other. But that would require Kendrick Lamar to look at himself and say, oh, how am I partaking in this vast unenlightenment? How am I partaking in this mass vulgarity that I expect my black friends or my Latino friends to be able to say, but not my white fans? How can I correct this sort of hypocrisy? Ladies and gentlemen, the N-word is never okay to use. But sometimes, if you want to be able to see someone's intentions, or if you want to be able to understand someone's intentions, context matters. If a reporter is quoting someone who used the N-word and they say that, context matters. That's not a malicious use of the word. If someone sings along to a rap song, they obviously don't have malicious intent. But the fact that the word is in such mass circulation today and has been popularized by so many friendships, by pop culture, by rap music, is simply the product of a root, a disgusting, poisonous root, which goes all the way back to the days of racially motivated violence. And it goes all the way back to the days of collectivism and identity politics. Don't use the N-word. View people not as your N-word or not as a N-word, but as individuals, as divine beings birthed from a massive intelligent consciousness, whatever that might be, who walk in this world and labor in this world intelligently. Think on it. As always, my friends, I love you, and please, you better stay pensive. Bye-bye.